Hey everyone, welcome to my Instagram live series. Today's Instagram session is a Diwali special session on how to improve your financial happiness. Let me patch my co-host in for today. Yes, give me a second. Hi Angad, hi Rahul, hi Vinayak. Just waiting for my co-host to join in. Hi Gayatri, can you hear me?
Hi, Aman. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi. Your video is just taking a few seconds to stabilize. Can you see
Okay.
me properly?
I can see you. I can hear you as well.
Awesome. Great. I was just greeting the participants who were joining. For the benefit of everyone, I'm just going to share again that today's live session is a Diwali special Instagram live where we are going to be talking about how one can heal and boost their financial happiness. And with me, I have a special co-host today, Gayatri Bari, who is a clinical hypnotherapist and a healer. And she also works with participants to help them to boost their life in all aspects. Thanks, Gayatri. Thank you for joining today and coming back to another live session with me. A high five for you. Nice of you to be back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me one more time. It's always a pleasure. So I enjoy this. So looking forward to the session today.
Awesome. So, just for the benefit of those who might be meeting me for the first time, just a quick introduction so that they know that they're listening to a conversation between people who are, or rather, they are in safe hands for these few 25-30 minutes of this conversation. So, friends, my name is Aman Chandra, and I'm a bulletproof happiness coach and a motivational speaker. And along with Gayatri today, we're going to be helping you understand how you can actually boost your own financial health. Just a quick disclaimer for people, we're not going to be talking about some quick get rich scheme over here. We're going to be talking about certain tools and techniques and mindset shifts which are going to help you to be able to change your approach to attracting money and improving your financial success kind of a story. It's going to be something that you need to apply and work on diligently. Yes, Gayatri, does that make sense? Would you agree?
Yes, yes, totally with you.
Awesome. So let's get going. And I want to just ask the participants, this is a super session for people to understand how to boost their own financial happiness. So if you're here, you're live with us. Hi, Seema. Hi, Ashwini. Share this live in your network. Let maximum people benefit from this session, and the more people who join, the more the information will spread, and you will be helping us in fulfilling our mission. So awesome, guys. Excellent. So high five to all the participants also who are here. And shall we dive deep in, Gayatri? My
Let's
audio and
start.
video is clear for you?
Yeah. Am
Super.
I audible? Am I visible properly?
Yes, you're audible, but the video is a little bit not the quality is going up and down a bit. It's okay now, but if you have another connection or something that you could try, maybe we could do that before we begin. Is there any possible alternate connection, or should we go ahead with this?
I'll take maybe 1 minute to uh, switch the connection, but then it will, delay the session. Will that be okay?
I guess we'll wait. If you could just, instead of disconnecting, you could just switch the connection and see if that helps. We'll wait for 30 seconds. Do you have to
Yeah,
leave
I
your
can.
spot or something?
I can do that. Can you just
Yeah, waiting for a few seconds.
okay.
So everybody, till then, the session today is a special Diwali Instagram live session. where me and Gayatri are going to be sharing with you certain tips on how you can boost your financial happiness. Okay, so we are going to be talking about things that are going to help you to begin the journey of improving your relationship with money, of how you can, instead of having to, let's say, work more and more to earn, you can begin to create a shift in your perspective and learn how to let money flow to you a little bit easily. This is the idea of today's session. So if you all are interested and if you find this exciting, just drop in the comments also exciting. We'll be happy to see that from you, while Gayatri is just reconnecting her Wi-Fi so that her video is more stable. Yes, Gayatri.
Yes, it's just done.
Awesome. So hopefully this will just make the video a little more stable. My video is stable for you, right? Just waiting for Gayatri's connection. It's taking a little bit of time, but we'll wait until we connect. Hi, Seema. You were saying hi to Gayatri, just saying hi to you on her behalf. Hi, Bhuvan. Just waiting for my co-host to join in this conversation today, which is all about boosting our financial happiness. So here goes, adding my co-host back in. Looking forward to having you in, Gayatri. Hey,
I think
Gayatri.
while switching the network, it became unstable. I'm sorry.
That's
Is this better?
Yes, it looks a little bit better, so I'm glad we did that. Awesome. Excellent. So let's dive right in. Here's what I want to start off with, Gayatri. We've shared with everybody that today's topic is all about money, our financial health, and our financial happiness. Before I dive straight in, I want to share some thoughts about what are the four main aspects of people's lives, the four pillars of people's lives, which I really believe are the foundation of living a satisfied life. So, the first foundation is somebody's mental and emotional wellness. Okay. The second foundation is people's relationship health, the kind of relationships that they have in life. The third foundation is their work and financial health, right? And the fourth foundation, which some people are not fully aware of, or that they don't really realize that it's equally important, it's about having a life purpose and a motivation in life, a passion in life, so that it drives you through. So, with these four main aspects, or out of these four main aspects, today we're going to be talking about the third one, which is basically our financial wellness. Correct?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in this aspect, what would you say, according to you, what does someone's happiness with respect to their finances really mean? Would you have any thoughts on that?
I believe when it comes to about our happiness related to finances, it's not about how much money we have, but it is more about what is the mindset related to finances that I have. If I have a poverty mindset, then I'm definitely unhappy even if I'm a multimillionaire. And if I have a wealth creation mindset, if I have a gratitude mindset, if I have an integrity of my own towards money, keeping your finances healthy, your payments, your bills healthy, and going with the level and slowly growing. Even if you don't have enough money, but because your mindset is more towards being grateful for what you have, and creating more, then you become more happy about your finances. So it's more about who you are. What are
Correct.
you creating in your finances? That decides whether you are happy or unhappy.
Awesome. That's a really nice way of looking at it, and I really want to give you a high five. Awesome perspective. To add on to that from my side, I would say financial happiness is a sense of, so you don't want money as such. What you really want is the emotional security that comes with when you have money. This is the way that I would define financial happiness. It's somewhat similar to what you were saying, right? It's not, you're not wanting more wealth, more money, more notes, let's say. You're wanting the effect of, or the right mindset that comes with it, that feeling of security, of being in a good place in life. This is what really financial happiness means.
Yeah.
And if we were to go a little bit more in detail, happiness is not just something which can be defined in terms of how much wealth you have. Just like you were saying, just having a great amount of a huge bank balance does not mean that you are financially happy.
Yeah.
Somebody who has enough to eat and to maybe do some good in society without being extremely flashy, without having the best cars, the best houses, for them, their financial happiness is defined in that way. Everybody's
Yeah.
financial happiness is different. It
Yeah.
does not mean that you have to be a billionaire, basically. Financial happiness is your happiness with respect to your financial situation,
True.
right? Super.
Yeah.
So, if I would, in terms of what is a financial happiness quotient, it basically means how happy are you with what you have in life in terms of finances and what your goals are. That's it. It doesn't mean that you have to be Steve Jobs, you don't have to be Bill Gates. It's what you want in life with respect to your,
It's like, let's say it is the fuel in your vehicle.
right?
If you have more of it, then you can go longer.
True.
So it's one of the resources to reach your goals. So I think one first needs to define that what are those goals they have for their life,
Right.
not just the personal goals of enjoying life with more money, like you can travel more or you can have luxury. That's just one part of it.
True.
But what you want to create, maybe somebody wants to build a business and then create uh, jobs for people or
True.
solve a problem. So then that's a vision. And if for that I need money, then it becomes an interesting goal, interesting into the creation mode.
True.
Yeah.
Awesome. Makes sense. So I'm glad we spoke about this first point. What I would like to ask you next is, according to you, what are some of the mistakes that we unconsciously make that damage our own financial happiness or our own financial health? Some things that we do unconsciously without realizing. What would you say?
I think the most damaging thing that we all do is we want to keep up with the world around us. So we definitely want to watch the news. And when in the news, the issues are highlighted, that how, there is either a recession happening or people are losing onto job or things are becoming expensive. We very easily we slip into that unconscious mode of believing that I'm now spending more
Right,
or the lifestyle has become more expensive. On the other hand, we never look at the, earning capacity has also increased. So
right,
I'm not saying that we should not do something regarding, for like, for example, fuel prices going high, and we should expect that we should have alternative ways. But then constant focus on the scarcity which we pick up from the news,
right.
and we often call it as a practical approach,
Correct.
right?
Right,
So I think we noticing that, but not allowing that to hit us at our belief system and emotions. That's very, very crucial, and it's very difficult to do, I believe. But that's one thing I believe everyone should look at. And in that, I think we lose the contact with being grateful.
Awesome. So, I've always been a proponent of actually staying away from news because for me, news these days or for a long time has just been, should be renamed as bad news. It's not news, it's really bad news. So and so thing has gone wrong, so and so murder, so and so killed, so and so calamity. Like, I feel that 70% of news is filled with that. And as you said, what happens in this case is when you see scarcity around you so much, you begin to believe that that is how it's supposed to be. You begin to believe that life and finances are a struggle, right?
Yeah.
When you see this poverty around you, when you see people fighting for food, for example, like it happened during the worst stage of the pandemic also, right? Where people, they had no jobs, they were struggling for food, they were breaking into places to get food because they were out of money. So those things begin to make us believe that this is how it's supposed to be, and this is that it's inevitable almost. So awesome, this, staying away from polluting your own mindset with respect to finances is very important. To
And I
add,
also believe that that doesn't mean that you don't go and watch news or read news. Be informed of what is happening out there. But then after that, when you see a shift in your thought process before you spend or think about money, you should always see that if I'm changing my habit, is it coming out of scarcity within me or is it coming out of a responsible citizen that I want to behave in a proper way instead of feeling worried and feeling that now the scarcity is going to be there, so I should be careful. And I think that's very, very, again, very thin line, because becoming so aware of our emotions is something very new for all of us.
absolutely. This is what I was going to say, that yes, that's how it should ideally be. But until we have become so conscious, which is just another way of saying becoming so aware, it is okay to limit your exposure to things that make you feel negative about something. And in fact, doesn't just apply to financial health and financial happiness, this applies to everything else also. If you see in the newspaper everything talking about relationships breaking up after 10 years, even that impacts you. Like people getting divorced after 20 years of marriage, all those things make you think, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. People are like this, the world is like this. Then for you, it becomes like that.
True.
Because very unconsciously, most of the time we've let information feed straight through to our mind without really evaluating it. And this happens because that's how it's been happening for so long. You, for example, if you were born, let's say if somebody was born in a family where always there was a challenge to be able to have the next meal, for example, ever since they were small. So for them, that becomes normal. For them, it feels like that's how it's going to be forever. Maybe it was there with their previous generation also. So for them, it feels this is how life is meant to be for us. So these things are happening unconsciously with people, and they need to be aware, like you very rightfully pointed out. One thing that I would like to add on in over here is that unconsciously we do not realize that we have a relationship with our finances. Finances is not that you can think of as just paper or some currency or some in the digital age as some money in your digital wallet. You actually have a 24/7 relationship with your own financial status, your own financial money, or your money at that point. So what is that relationship? Like, do you think, for example, that having more money means that you're going to be a good person? Or for example, somebody believes that if I have too much money, then I would become uh, greedy, or I would want more, and I would become corrupt or something like that, right? You always have a relationship with money that
Yeah.
is also continuously influencing you. So in order to be, there are many ways in which, with all the clients that I work with in my coaching community, whenever they come with a challenge with respect to their financial health, it's this is where one of the biggest things that comes up, where they want money, but they feel that having more money means you're going to be a bad person, for example. Just a simple, thought process and a belief that comes to them. So they mentally and emotionally they don't want it, but they at a physical level they say they want more. They're not happy with what they have. So this disconnect happens. I think this corresponds to a belief system, right? Like you also work with people and you take them through hypnotherapy and help them understand what beliefs they're holding. And their beliefs get converted into attitudes, which then get converted into behaviors, which are basically create their relationship with money, with their finances in their life, right? So just to summarize, people need to become aware of the relationship that they hold with money.
True.
If they feel that money is good, then yes, it will become easier to get more money, whatever is their requirement in life, right?
I think, yeah, I totally agree with you. Like one very common thing most of us have always heard is that my hard-earned money.
Absolutely, very valid point.
Money doesn't grow on tree. Now, when you have heard this again and again from your parents or anybody else in the family while growing up, even very, very subconsciously, even if you are aware that you don't want to take that, you grow up with that. Or
Correct.
I get a lot of clients who somewhere have a belief that um, money is not spiritual. So if you want to become spiritually advanced, then you should keep away from
Absolutely.
money. And all these things definitely we have taken on from somebody who we treated as an authority. And when an authority says something, it becomes really important for us. And even if we
Absolutely.
don't, even if we want to fight with that thought and word in our head, we do take it and it becomes our lifestyle eventually.
Correct. Super points, Gayatri. These are some other unconscious, once again, thought processes and beliefs that we hold that
Yeah.
impact our ability to have a good relationship with happiness, to have good financial happiness. And then our financial happiness quotient comes down. I was about to say the very same thing that you said, that another unconscious thing is that thinking that you need to work hard to get money is a mistake. Because if you believe that, then you will always have to work hard. And that's when most people caught in this loop spend their life trading time for money. They think that the more time I spend, the more money I can earn. And then
Yeah.
it becomes a challenge.
They have to
Instead,
become very busy,
and
hardworking.
then they start confusing busyness with actually maybe some sort of financial success also. And then they say, I've spent my whole life, grinding it out, but I never really became financially happy. And this
Yeah.
is what many gurus, financial gurus actually talk about as financial freedom. When you can change your relationship, your frequency with money, it begins to become almost effortless. Your ability to have whatever you need will be available for you.
True.
Ultimately, everybody, whether they realize it or not right now, whatever they need will be available for them. It becomes difficult to actually gain access to those resources when you begin to worry too much and when you begin to think that you have to do something to acquire it. And that means you have to strive, you have to expend your blood, sweat and tears. It's not necessary. It should be,
Yep.
and it can be very well done with a sense of joy. That means you can approach earning a living with a sense of joy. And when you do that, I'll just complete that. And when you do that, you become happy already. Whether you
Yep.
become a billionaire or not, you become happy already. You begin to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
then it becomes real happiness. Then it's not just we move beyond the term financial happiness in that case. And ironically, in that case, finances start showing up more for you. That's the funny thing.
True.
You wanted to say
And
something.
yeah, one point I wanted to add is for some people, if they work hard to earn money, then it becomes like more deserving experience. If they get it easily, then they feel that maybe they don't deserve it and they can't have it. It becomes like a medal for them that I have to work hard to earn,
Right.
right? I'm not getting it just easily from
Correct.
uh, people so easily. So I should work hard is a limitation. And if I work hard, then I will feel that I really deserve this. That's another limitation.
Correct.
So unless and until I do hard work, I don't feel I deserve this much amount of money. So it's so entangled that we can't even find which one is true for us. So as you said, it's very crucial for us to become aware of our beliefs, our
Correct.
relationship with money, because it is an energy and how we look at it is how it will show up in our life.
Absolutely. Super. Lovely points, and I hope all those who are listening got some value also. Whoever, I would once again just like to advise everybody, feel free to share this stream in your network. We're talking about how people can boost their financial happiness. Let as many people as possible benefit from this. Help us by spreading the word. And while you do that, we're going to move on to the next part of this conversation. So, since we've spoken about some of the unconscious mistakes that people make which prevent them from having financial happiness, and now we've spoken about financial happiness also, what it really means, can you share some tips on how people can heal and boost their finances? What tips can they start applying?
I would first of all like to tell that there is a practical aspect to money that you earn and then you divide it, and a part of it is saved and invested so that it grows. That is also important.
Right?
Apart from that, first thing you need to look at is what is your relationship with money, as you said, Aman. So what all the beliefs do I have? And one can start, just take one notepad and start writing, and start writing every kind of belief that you may have heard, and then sit and think whether that belief holds true for you or not. And I think that's the very first step, because unless and until I'm aware that what are my beliefs, those are stopping me from having more money or feeling happiness in my finances, I can't figure out where to start and which one to heal and which one not to heal. It's like a diagnosis that one needs to do first. That's
Awesome.
one thing. And when they want to work on their finances, they want to heal it, they need to understand that there is something within them which is manifesting that situation for them.
Lovely.
So everything in our life is, sourced from within. Every situation in my life is created from my subconscious. So first of all, grounding oneself in that can help. That okay, if it is so, it is a bad news, because I don't want scarcity. I don't want unhappiness in finances. But then the good news is, if I have created it, I can create otherwise also. So
Super.
I have the charge of my life. I have the destiny in my control. I can create it. So that's when the healing can start. So first of
Super.
all, I think I would like to tell our viewers is, take a notepad or a piece of paper and write down all the beliefs that you have ever heard, and then start looking for which one are there for you, so that you know from where to start healing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Excellent points, Gayatri. And something that I would like to share over here is that people might even find this very, very ironic. Whenever you feel that your financial situation as such is beginning to become strained, at that point, I want them to actually let go of worry. This sounds a little bit ironic, it sounds a little counterintuitive, but when you start becoming worried, that means you start generating a thought that you have a lack in your life.
Yeah.
Your worry makes you focus on the fact that there is less financial happiness in your life. And because the mind is unfortunately designed to make you stay stuck in that zone, especially when you are having those challenges, learn to understand that you need to let go of that worry. What you need to do is only figure out how you can make some changes, how you can boost your financial situation. But if what's important is what space are you doing it from? Are you doing it from
True.
a space of fear? Are you doing it from a space of worry? And if you're doing it from that space, then your efforts will keep you stuck over there. You will begin
Yeah.
to enter a loop where you will, even if you do get money, you will always be fearful. And if you're always thinking unconsciously, I'm not going to have enough, you won't have enough. So when you don't have enough, don't worry. No matter how difficult this sounds for people, when you don't have enough, don't worry. Take a break, take a vacation for a few days if you want. But be extremely vigilant when you are going through a challenge. That's the biggest thing that I would like to share with people. I say this from my own personal experience. When years ago I did have a challenge, I used to continuously worry about where will I get the next set of finances from. When I let go of it, something magical happened. It's not like I became immediately a millionaire or something, but what happened is whenever I needed it, it showed up on its own. Even though my balance wasn't like extremely exploding or anything, whenever I needed it, it began showing up. I was taking
Yeah.
action, I was doing things, but I had begun to let go of this worry. Because when, as we've been speaking about, that worry just makes us think that yes, finances are a challenge in life and that you're going to be stuck over here.
Yeah.
So that's the summary. Don't worry about your financial situation because it doesn't help you. You need to
I
take
also
action.
have, sorry, couple of points to add. If we have time, let me know.
Yes, I think we have a few minutes and somebody had a question. I'm just checking over here also. Okay, Raza
Sure.
had a question over here, so we'll take that in a bit. And somebody else also, if anybody has questions, feel free to write in the comments, put a Q and then write your question. And if you wish to join us in this live and ask a question, you can even request for that. Gansham was here. Hi, Gansham. Hi, Raza. Hi, Malvika. All these guys who joined us. Hi, Pranav. Super awesome to have you guys here. Hi, Trip. Okay, Tripto Bhatia. Sunny, awesome guys. Nice of you to join in. Okay, yes, Gayatri, you wanted to add a couple of points you were saying.
Yeah. So, because I'm more into healings, I would like to give them a couple of perspectives from the healing angle.
Yeah,
One is, if we look at it, the soul comes in the body and we are living a human lifetime. So, when you are in a human body, the first and the most important thing is our survival, right? When the child is born, the most important thing for the child is to survive, and that's what the parents look after. Now, if you look at it, money is also related to that. If I have enough amount of money, then I do have a good kind of survival. Sorry.
back
Whenever
Gayatri, can you
we,
hear?
I'm back. Am I audible?
Could you start again?
Yeah. So I'm saying that the finances are also related to our survival. And all these three things, like my relationship with my father, my relationship with my mother, and my relationship with my money, comes in our root chakra, which is
Okay.
related to our basic human need. So, whenever you have any issue in life, first of all, you should go and check what unhealed part is there which you are carrying, which is towards your mother or father, because they
Okay.
are the source of life. If we are complete with our source, then everything flows naturally in our life. And in the journey of growth, since the moment we come to the womb of a mother, we start developing our subconscious beliefs, and we do have
Right.
experiences. Maybe we have not developed the vocabulary, but the experiences are stored. So there maybe something is taken and some hurt is carried, and that will come in your way. That is one thing. Another thing they can look at is whichever belief they have seen that their father had or mother had or even their grandparents had, it's running in, it is a similar pattern which is running in the family. That means they have taken it. So at least just imagining that particular person from whom they feel they have taken the belief, most probably their parents, because they are our first caretakers than the grandparents or more ancestors. Just return that energy of that belief. You can even return the words and you can give it a form, a color, an object, some shape that's going back, and just intuitively check that what you lost to that belief, whatever was naturally yours, it will come back. So this is just one very, very simple exercise which we do in therapies at times that can show you that how much of your beliefs are not even your own beliefs. You are just hypnotized. You are born in a hypnotic programming and you are just continuing that generations after generations. So these two things also can give people some point to begin with. And as you said, Aman, that they should drop the worry exactly when the situations are showing them the lack and practice gratitude. One should definitely do that, and it is difficult to do that for most of us. So if you try it at least for 21 days in a ritualistic form. And if you notice that you are just doing it mechanically and you're not feeling it, that's the time you see the therapist.
Right.
If you are able to feel the gratitude while doing it in whichever form, then possibly that's helping you and you may not need the therapist. But if you find that you're not feeling it, then don't hesitate. Don't hesitate to go and seek therapy.
Super. Yeah, it always does help when somebody can walk you through the process, as you are saying, because it is a challenge. And if you're doing it alone, then you might end up doing it like me for 10, 15 years and then realizing that this is the right way to do it. So if you do want to speed up your process, of course, you should work with someone who you would be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Awesome points, Gayatri. I want to add one last thing over here. The thing I want to add over here is I want people to really ask themselves how much can they imagine in terms of achieving financially in their life. Right now, if I were to ask, most people would have some ceiling coming up. They would say maybe $1 million. Somebody might just say $100,000. This is what I want people to understand, that there is a ceiling that unconsciously they have put on their own achievability of their financial status, prosperity, or happiness. I want people to be able to start breaking that barrier. It's possible. How do you break that barrier? Every day you ask yourself, how much do I actually believe that I can achieve financially in this life? And second, when you're asking yourself this question, do not question how. You're not thinking about the how in this case. You're breaking barriers right now and you're not trying to figure out how you're going to get there. You want to be able to just see the vision first, and then the how will start working itself out. The problem over here is that most people don't have, they cannot, it's like you can just see 6 feet from you. How can you imagine getting 600 feet ahead? So break that barrier in your own mindset by every day seeing how much you can look at yourself achieving financially without having too much doubt. If you think $1 million gives you too much doubt right now, then start with $100,000. Drop everything and start with $10,000 if that's it. But every time try and see where your ceiling is.
Yeah.
And the tip over here, the important thing over here is, please do not think about how it will happen. And do not let your mind ask you, but this is impossible. Whatever the mind says at that point is irrelevant. You are just breaking barriers right now. So go ahead and freely do it. Say $1 trillion if you want. Nobody's stopping you. And whatever you think is actually possible. It's not a joke. It's not just a motivational thing that I'm saying. It's possible because I have seen it happen in my own life. And every day you can start improving your ability to let go of boundaries. If you let go of boundaries, then there's no limit to your financial happiness. That's what I would like to give in terms of a summary. Super, Malvika. I think you're saying this is so true. So nice of you to comment with that. So glad that this is
Uh,
making sense to you.
I think you said somebody had a question which you wanted to take.
Yes, I was just checking that question, and I think that question was, it's actually Raza has sent a question that let me just check over here also. Somebody else was saying something. Raza's question was basically one should always be in a vibration. So Malvika has also said before that one should be in a vibration of abundance. Yes, Malvika, that's super, that's excellent. And Raza's question was basically a little bit off the topic, but since it's been asked, we can answer. So his question is basically, how does one deal with tough people or arrogant people? So even though that's off the topic, he wanted to ask. So what are your thoughts? How should someone deal with an arrogant person?
So when somebody is being a certain way towards me, which I don't like, uh, of course I would want that person to change. You know, that's the first thought that comes. Uh, but the beauty here is you can't control the other person. You can't control the situations. So then what do you control? You can control how you feel. So one needs to ask that when somebody is being arrogant to me, how do I feel? And then there is an emotion, there is a belief which, I've started accumulating somewhere. And sometimes what happens when I know that this is how I feel, I start finding the solutions, because emotions are, I think, beautiful way to work with emotions and beliefs is the moment you acknowledge them, it comes in front of you instead of staying behind and controlling you. So the grip goes away. Just the awareness also makes one free. Like that's what they do in Vipassana, right? Just acknowledge every body sensation and slowly it starts disappearing and you remain unattached, like you remain in equanimity. So what you can do is just acknowledge your emotion and see what shifts for you. Because then you can ask yourself that if I'm feeling sad or angry, then how do I want to feel? And you can work towards that positive emotion using affirmations and maybe writing on or repeating them for 21 days. These are some self-help techniques. Now again, if that is not helping and you notice that this is a pattern, I attract such kind of people again and again in my life. I again and again in similar situations or different situations, I do feel this particular emotion and just the affirmations is not helping me. Then you go to a therapist and get it addressed, because the root is somewhere deep down in your subconscious mind.
Super.
And once you change your emotion, that's when you change your frequency. If important people in your life, then maybe those people will stop being arrogant to you because your response has shifted, both in a silent manner and in the out there expressive manner. Or if not very important people were also arrogant to you, you will stop manifesting such people in your life. So in that way, again, I do control the situations and people in my life, but not directly. If you wish them to change and if you wish them to, be in your own way, then that's not going to help. That's
Awesome.
my take. I'm sure Aman must have his own view on this. So Aman can also share whatever he would like.
So really, I understood a lot from your perspective also, and that was a awesome answer. My answer to this as an add-on would be simply that if you feel that somebody is being arrogant with you, first of all, please recognize that just the fact that you are saying they are arrogant is the reason that you're feeling disturbed. You are the one who has labeled them as arrogant. Somebody else who's a very aggressive person and who's an arrogant person themselves, may just find them to be just like them. So even if 1 out of 100 looks at them a little bit differently, that means it's always your interpretation, or more specifically, the way your mind is going to interpret an interaction with someone, that is going to put you in a specific emotional state. This theoretically means that you can even rewire yourself to say that somebody who shouted at you is a good person. It is possible to rewire yourself to that level just by understanding that it is the way your senses perceived something and the label that you put on that event or that stimuli, which changed your mental state, your emotional state. So once you recognize that it is not, for example, right now, if I say, Gayatri, that you're a bad person, you have the option of deciding to smile instead of being angry also.
Right.
Because it's like you will put a different label. You want to say this, it's fine. I don't think that you are a bad person. So what I'm saying is there are many steps that happen before you actually reach an emotional state.
Yeah.
And when you realize that those steps are actually in your control, that's when you begin to reclaim power. What the shift that happens is that instead of saying that Aman said I'm a bad person and that's why I'm angry, it switches. You start saying, you can, for example, Gayatri, you could start saying, I thought that it was a terrible thing that he said. Notice the shift. I thought it was a terrible thing he said, and then I became angry. So you're literally reclaiming power. You're saying, I am the one who is creating that step which is leading to this emotional state. I have the power. So this is what
Yeah.
we need to recognize. And while you do that, there's absolutely nothing wrong in taking action to change your physical situation. That means speak to that person if you want, tell them that you prefer if they didn't speak this way, or just limit your interaction if that's also works. Take physical action and simultaneously recognize how you can reclaim power of your own emotional state in any relationship. That's the way that I would look at it, and I would like to add on to what you have said. So, thanks so much,
Great.
Gayatri. That was an excellent answer, and I trust that it made
Same
added
here.
value to yours also.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely, everybody. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to have all of you join us. And Gayatri, I think we can now bring this session to a conclusion. I'm really pleased, and I want to thank you for co-hosting this session on financial happiness with me. A lot of new things came up.
Thank you for the opportunity. I learned a lot.
My pleasure, and it's always lovely to be connected with you and to speak to you. We'll be connecting again soon, and we are also working on creating a joint workshop which we will be launching soon, and we'll see it fruit take fruition very soon, and we will be launching it, and we will invite all the people who are here with us also. This is great. And by the way, just to let everybody know, I'm also doing a special master class on the same topic of financial happiness tomorrow. And if they're interested, they can just send me a direct message also, and I'll let them share the details with them. It's just a 90-minute session. And that's about it. That brings us to the conclusion. Thank you to everybody who joined. And thank you specifically, Gayatri, for sharing your valuable insights. Have a great
Thank
weekend to the participants and to you, and we will see everybody soon. Cheers, everybody.
Thank you everyone. Happy Diwali.
Yes, and a very happy Diwali to everybody. All right, bye.
Thank you.
We sign out then.
Bye.